Let's give just a few more minutes because people are entering right now.
Thank you, Teresa, for sending the link for the flash survey. Clean cooking. I think it's good now if many of us can feel this. It takes just a few moments.
It's just a
because
few
now
moments. I was just looking here through people that are here if we already have LGI.
Yeah, maybe we can wait until 10 minutes past 11.
Yeah, that's what I was
perhaps
thinking. Just a few minutes just to check because I know that Leona will be here. So I'm just
Yeah,
waiting
very good.
for him to step in.
Exactly. So for some 3 minutes are just enough to fill in this survey on clean cooking.
Yes, Grace.
Yeah, let's give it the 10 minutes. I'm looking, I'm trying to get him on mail and then I'll give you
Okay.
feedback. Yeah.
Okay. So just for us to understand if if we should wait. Okay. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Great. So let's start. Um, I would like to first thank everyone for being here. I'm very sorry because I think that my camera on this computer just broke, so I just entered in another session. But I'd like to thank everyone for being here today. I am very happy to have this webinar, and this is a webinar that was thought on the scope of Puram's project that belongs to LibRE set of projects. My name is Teresa Simões. I'm a researcher at LNEG. and I'm here co-organizing this webinar with the LIPRI projects team. So this session is dedicated to clean cooking. We are here to share with you the experience in projects and initiatives on this area that have been happening in the last years. And today we would like to address some issues related with socioeconomic aspects, funding and policy, based on the experience that the speakers that we have here today acquired and have through their activities. So we will have some introductory presentations and then a session dedicated to the topic of the webinar. So one of the things that I would like to ask your attention was that I have uploaded on the chat of this platform a link for a flash survey. And the idea here is to understand your opinion on the clean cooking topic. And therefore, I would ask you to go there and check the link and please fill it in. And we will share the results from this very short survey at the end of the session. So we will go through all the presentations, and then at the end, we will have a short discussion about the topic that brought us here today. So please put your questions on the chat, and we will go through them in the discussion period. So again, welcome everyone, and thank you very much for being here with us today. I'm going to go through the program. I don't think we have LGI representative today here. So I would probably... Yeah, you are?
Certainly.
Oh, Leonard, you are here. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm going to give the word to Leonard Levesque from LGI. He's the coordinator of LIPRI program. So I would give you the floor and ask you please to say some words about LIPRI project. Please, thank you.
Thank you very much, Teresa, and colleagues for the organization of this webinar. I see also a list of familiar names, so happy to see that there is interest and active participation. So I'm not going again into the detail of what LIPRI is. I think you are getting familiar now with the program. I just want to stress two main items. The first is related to the launching of a follow-up phase for LIPRI that will convert not anymore on renewable energy, but that will target sustainable energy as we enlarge the focus, and we will address now also the production and utilization of green hydrogen as a thematic priority for funding. When it comes to funding, I have the pleasure to officially announce that the third call for project within LIP Energy will take place. We will be officially open from the 13th of January 2025 for, I think it's 2 months, but well, you will have directly on LIPRI website all the information related to this new call, including the terms of reference, the specific guidelines for applicants, the eligibility criteria for each funding agency in Europe and Africa. So I hope you will pay attention to this upcoming mechanism and that you will apply. I think it's a great opportunity for those who already are involved in the project funded within LIPRI to potentially continue the activities. And within this new initiative, LIP SE, which basically is the continuity of LIPRI, no need to be afraid about the project name. In any case, we need to rebrand this and find a more sexy and catchy name for the whole initiative. But what we can also confirm is that this LEAP SE second phase will last until 230. We will most likely launch another call for project in 2026. We confirm that you should all be eligible, but we strongly encourage you to check on the website the guidelines. But in addition to these calls for project, we will also continue the peer-to-peer and networking activities, mainly using the LIPRI platform where we are hosting today's webinar. We will try to enrich the tool and add some matchmaking features so that you can use the platform also to find potential other consortium members to build a good proposal in the view of the call. And we also can guarantee that with LIPRI team and LIPSI new contributors, we will continue, I hope on a monthly basis, this programming of online peer-to-peer opportunities, what we have been calling clustering and so on. So we simply can confirm that LIPRI will continue, that the ambition is rising, the number of community members as well. So we are very, very happy to have you today during this webinar. Thank you, Teresa, Doreen, Grace, and Aino for leading this process. And I give it back to you, Teresa, for the moderation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leonard, for these valuable information that you have shared with us. So now I'm going to pass the word to Yael and Laura that are here, Yael Meroz from Ecoris and Laura Heidecke from Greenville Projects. So they are going to say also give us a presentation on the introduction of the GSO and the cluster on energy transition in Africa. So go ahead, Yael.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Teresa. Hi, Leonard. It's nice to see you again. Nice to be here. Teresa, you confirmed that we will be sharing the slides, right? Because before I saw that Doreen was sharing.
Yes, you can share. Okay. You can go ahead and share.
Okay, Laura? I didn't hear you, but okay, I'm waiting. Okay. So, hello, everybody. For me, it's the second time that I am participating in an event of the LIPRI initiative. Me and Laura will speak after me. We come from the Green Deal Project Support Office. And we already actually collaborated with LIPRI back in May. We organized the peer-to-peer, what Leonard mentioned, between our projects and the LIPRI projects on community engagement. So please, next slide, Laura. Okay, this is really a quick presentation of who we are, so you know what we do here, but then Laura will present the more juicy and interesting part, I think, for you. So we are a support office, which is similar to what LIPRI is doing in many ways, but not completely, because we have a timeline. We will operate until November 26. We don't issue new calls, so I cannot provide you any information about further funding opportunities within the call. But we are similar because we facilitate coordination, we facilitate synergies, we organize webinars, events, and for example, later today there is another webinar for a network of multipliers, and we're going to discuss projects that are about to end. So we support this kind of clustering and coordination activities. You will have the presentations, I guess, shared by LIPRI after the event webinar, so you will be able to click. There are links here for the webinar, for the newsletter, and for our website. Next slide. This is just one example of an event that we had in April, back in April in Brussels, where all the projects were invited for our annual meeting. Next slide. Now, just to introduce what Laura is going to say in a few seconds. We organize the clustering, we organize webinars, peer-to-peer networking, clustering, all these nice words, but actually concretely on the ground, we have 5 working groups, which are divided by theme, as of course you can see here. We have climate change and biodiversity, urban environment and mobility, food and health, knowledge and citizens. They all encompass projects which contribute to reaching the objectives of some of the objectives of the Green Deal, which are of course listed here. And of course, the 5th working group is clean energy, which is the facilitator of which is Laura, which is here with us. And she will just tell you a few things about this clean energy working group and what you can have in common with them. Maybe some of you already know them, this working group, because as I said before, back in May, we had a small exchange, again, a small webinar about between the LEAP-3 project and the Green Deal Support Office project. But she will say something more about this. So Laura, now I pass the floor to you. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah, thanks so much, Yael. And thanks for all the organizers for having us. Indeed, so I will briefly just present the Clean Energy Working Group. This consists of 13 projects focused on energy decarbonization, and the scope is quite large. There's different technologies, different geographic focus. And so we have a sub kind of group, a sub cluster for the African projects. So here you see the ones that are highlighted in orange. So so that would be Reflect Africa, CESA, Sophia, and Nertica, and also Steam Bio Africa, although the project has ended. So I will just really briefly go through some of the recent activities that the working group has done. So on the website that Yael mentioned, you can there's different resources that have been published by our working group, including a video, articles, and also a policy brief on biomass to waste featuring Reflect Africa and Bioflex Gen. There are also other sources such as a report, some success stories, and also infographics if you want to learn a little bit more about the clean energy working group. So I think in the coming months there'll also be some potentially some further policy briefs, perhaps also with Sophia, who I believe is also one of the speakers today, and yeah, so just let us know if you have any questions about the Clean Energy Working Group or GDSO, but I will now hand it back to the moderator. So thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Yael and Laura, for this presentation. We are also very interested in going through those links and check what you have. I'm going to pass to the remaining session. So we will have now a presentation from Anne Momugu. You are here, Anne? I think, yes, you are. So Anne is going to give us a presentation on the clean cooking status in Africa. And she was the coordinator of Puram's project within LEAP-3, and she comes from the University of Strasbourg. Go ahead, Anne.
Yes, give me a second. So I share my screen. Just escape. Just a second. Okay, that is using the wrong primary. So I'll just, hopefully you'll be able to see, because I have 2 screens and one screen is not
Maybe I can help you share if that's okay.
Please, yes, that would be
Okay.
helpful. Or actually, I think I'd made some changes to the slides, so let me try and change something and just get it.
Okay.
I've just remembered that I've made some changes. Okay, so this should be fine. Okay. So you'll tell me if you can see the screen window. Can you see the screen? How
Yes.
clear is it?
Yes.
Okay. Just hoping everyone will be able to see everything that I'm presenting. So my name is Anne. I'm going to present this with my colleague. My colleague and I are going to present this. So my name is Anne. I work in a department called UNESCO Chair in Strathmore. I'm an electrical engineer with a master's in sustainable energy transitions. And my work involves electricity research. So one of the research areas that I look at is electric cooking. But today I'll be talking about clean cooking as a whole. So just to start us off, I'd like to just give an introduction of how we're involved in the LIPRI project with regards to clean cooking. So we have a project on where we were developing a standalone solar e-cooker. So the project, in the project, we conducted an off-grid market assessment. We did the development of the cooker itself. There was also a component where we looked at the business models that would be viable for the cooker. And then finally, there was, looking at improving the solar PV modules that will be attached to the cooker. So what's the clean cooking challenge on the continent? So first of all, globally, 34% of 34% of the global population lacks access to clean cooking fuels and technologies, and a good chunk of this 34%, as you can see, is heavily found in the sub-Saharan Africa. The significant deficit is on the continent. So what's the status quo? Around 1.2 billion Africans are expected to gain access to clean cooking in the event that we achieve the access for all scenario, which is not easy. As you can see, there's a very big difference between, I'd say, the current scenario in sub-Saharan Africa versus where we'd like to be in 2030. Catching up with other regions is not going to be easy. Then for urban households, LPG and electricity is the most, it takes the largest chunk of, I'd say, the clean cooking fuels that we use. So it's expected that this will continue to grow, but also the natural gas segment will grow too. So what are the benefits of modern cooking fuels? So health, gender, environment tends to take a backseat when it comes to traditional fuels. And the newer fuels, we're going to talk a bit about why they improve. There's higher performance on health and gender and environment metrics. There's also upfront cost. So upfront cost is what I'd say is the biggest problem with the modern energy or modern cooking fuels. And then there's also fuel cost. And there's also like issues in terms of scalability. It's very, I think it's harder to scale things like natural gas as fast as you'd be able to scale electric cooking or ethanol. So it depends. This is just to show that all these different technologies have their own advantages and disadvantages. But when it comes to upfront cost, the biggest problem is with is on the modern ones, which is kind of something that we should look to flip in this space. With respect to the environment, so just going through some of the things that we were discussing in the previous slide, there is the concept of avoided emissions. So around a third of wood is harvested unsustainably. So just besides the fuel harvesting, there's also issues around carbon emissions. So at the current trajectory, we will probably have way more, around 900. We can avoid 900 metric tons of carbon equivalent. This means that without the clean cooking push that we're hoping to achieve with projects such as the ones that we're doing, whether it's programs or all the others, because there's quite a number in Lipri. If we don't do that, we will put in a lot of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So the switch from traditional use of biomass to use of electricity greatly reduces the GHG emissions. Very important. So in countries with coal-intensive power, this is a bit of an exemption because then there's already banning fossil fuels. But then there's countries like Kenya, which have, I think our grid is 80 to 90% green. So we have a lot of geothermal, a lot of hydro on the grid. So for Kenya, it's actually electrifying our whether our appliances or mobility or whatever it is very advisable given that we will be saving emissions. And then for health and gender, women tend to do most of the cooking. So I saw, it's around 4 hours. We spend around 4 hours of cooking. That's on the lower end because there's people spend a lot more time depending on how many meals you're going to cook per day. So women spend a lot of time on cooking, a lot of time on collecting firewood for rural communities. And I'd not say all, but a good chunk of the modern cooking fuels can cut this down by reducing the need to collect firewood, or at the same time also reducing the amount of time that you have to spend looking over the food. So for example, if you're boiling food, a pressure cooker you don't have to babysit a pressure cooker. You don't have to stand up there, like an electric pressure cooker. You don't have to stand up there and make sure that your water will not overboil. So it actually saves my time, or it gives people a bit more leisure time or time to do whatever they want. Yeah, so I think the next slide, I'm going to let Vincent continue from there.
Okay, thank you, Anne. Also, on policy, so part of the programs project, our mandate was to study the policy landscape in the 3 study areas, which is Kenya, Rwanda, and Mozambique, from the frameworks to the policy instruments that are in place or not in place. And one of the biggest barriers we were able to identify when it comes to policy was that was cost. So cost was a recurring issue, whether be it the poor financial support when it comes to the manufacturing industry, both that's now the supply side, and also when it comes to the high cost of acquiring clean cooking technologies, specifically electric cookers. So that's the high cost of technology and also the high implementation cost for some of these policies. So some other impacts were lack of political commitment, which is obvious when it comes to policy. A lack of policy means a favorable policy, or even implementation of the policies means there is a lack of political support, and also poor stakeholder engagement when it comes to drafting the policies and also implementing implementing them. So we also did a study on the immediate indications of our policy effects. One of it was an immediate one would be an increase in adoption of e-cooking technology, assuming now these policies were enforced, and also we did a more comprehensive study. There's need for a more comprehensive study for the other impacts of policies, especially when it comes to improved indoor air quality, also like reduced deforestation due to use of biomass. So next slide. So it's important to mention some of the outcomes for the COP 28, which happened earlier this year, and also recently COP 29. So during the summit on clean cooking in Africa, 2.2 billion of new financing and investment was mobilized. Also, there was a clean cooking declaration endorsed by more than 130 organizations and 90 African governments. One of them, obviously, seeing that the president of South Africa co-chairs the committee. So Tanzania was one of the countries, and also Kenya was also one of the countries, and they committed to making access to clean cooking a national priority. I would say, like in Kenya, we were way ahead. We have clean cooking strategy already in place in Kenya, which was initiated, if I'm not wrong, around May this year. There was also the launch of the African Clean Cooking Program aimed at creating a comprehensive strategy and action plan to improving clean cooking access across the continent. I think that was done recently in COP 29. Also, we did a study on the product value chain. So we were able to survey a couple of stakeholders in the demand and supply side, and a recurring issue again was the cost of appliance and lack of enough incentives to buy the appliance were one of the major factors impacting business negatively. So on the supply side, the manufacturing costs for the appliance, especially if you decide to do it locally, and also now the acquiring the appliance from on the supply side, so the consumer side. So uncertainty in regulatory framework was ranked as the least concern when it comes to factors impacting businesses. And we did another study where we asked the stakeholders to rate the factors that would hinder growth of manufacturing capacity for clean cooking solutions. And one of it was again financing problems. So this has been seen by the fact that except maybe improved cook stores and a few manufacturing companies like maybe Band that do assembly of e-cooking appliances, majority of them you have to import ready-made appliances and then repackage them and sell them locally. So this is because we have an underdeveloped local manufacturing capacity, which is tied to lack of finances, lack of access to financial instruments such as loans or other low interest rate loans for clean cooking. So we did a study on the business model, from the value proposition, which is the benefits of e-cooking, which are very straightforward. Yeah, you have faster cooking, more efficient cooking, healthier cooking, improved quality of life. Like Anna said, you get to with things like electric cooking, you have ample time to and also like improved cook stove where you have reduced the amount of biomass you need for cooking. You get to have more time to do productive things, especially for women and children who primarily are the ones who are doing the cooking or even collecting the biomass. We also did like as demographic study to see who would be the uh, right target consumers for different clean cooking products. So, especially when it comes to the urban areas where you have reliable electricity, that would mean a lot of domestic users would be the right target for e-cooking technology. And when it comes to the rural areas or the peri-urban areas, it would be preferable to give them the lower tiers when it comes to clean cooking, that is especially the improved cook stoves. So we have we did the different distribution channels. I think one of the concerns we had when it comes to when we were doing the product value chain study was which marketing channels would be preferable when it comes to selling the clean cooking technologies. Majority of the stakeholders said when it comes to e-cooking specifically, using digital marketing would be preferable because the demographic that would be likely to use that technology would be the younger one, and also people in the urban areas where they have access to social media and such. And also for the rural areas, using like having local demonstrations and using like local vernacular radio stations and TV stations would be the right marketing channel for them. Due to the interest of time, I go to the next slide. So solar cooking as a solution, which is what we primarily do here at Strathmore University, UNESCO chair. So solar energy can be a primary energy source in Africa due to the high annual irradiance and abundant sunshine. So at the beginning of the Purams project, we also did resource assessment study, and especially for countries across lying on the equator, we do have longer hours of sunshine, which would make which makes solar energy very viable. Also, solar cooking traditionally involves like solar thermal cookers. So the direct use of solar energy as opposed to converting it to solar energy can also be used. It's a viable solution for Africa. Yes, so thank you for your attention, and that's it.
Thank you so much, Anne and Vincent. I would invite people to write questions on the chat. We will address all the questions after the presentations. So I'm going quickly to Emma from NEFCO. Emma will talk us about socioeconomic and finance issues in the African context. So go ahead.
Thank you, Teresa, and hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me because my voice has been, I've been a bit ill, so hope you can hear me. I'm just
Yes.
sharing my presentation. Share. Yes. So, hi everyone. My topic for today's webinar is scaling clean cooking solutions for sustainable development in sub-Saharan Africa. My name is Emma Yrjölä. I'm located in Helsinki, Finland. I work at NEFCO, which is the facility manager for the modern cooking facility for Africa. My background is in development cooperation, environmental conservation and ecology, and I work as a program officer for the MCFA program.
I'm sorry, Emma, can you put it in presentation mode?
Sorry. How can I, because now I'm sharing my...
Yeah, just try to put it down on the usual button from PowerPoint. I think it will work.
Because now I'm on my screen, I put it in presentation mode. But can you see like all the slides there now? Or
the slides are there, but I think that if you pass the slides, they won't change on our monitor.
Okay, just a second. And show. So presentation.
If you have any problems, maybe Doreen can share.
Maybe because I'm just doing it as I would do it in Teams, but maybe this is somehow different because now can you see my screen now?
No, only you.
Weird. Okay, because I shared it, but let's see, entire screen. I chose the window, but can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes, you can see my slides. Because
yes,
great.
It's not in presentation mode.
What about now?
Still not. I think the problem that you have is the same one I had, which is if you have two screens, it is sharing the other screen.
I don't have two screens at the moment, but maybe if you can share it, because I think I'm not able to resolve this now.
Okay, let me share.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Doreen.
Yeah, I did some edits, but I think that's fine. Those are not that. Yeah, sorry about the technical hustle. Yeah, maybe the colors are looking a bit different now, but in that version. But the text is the same, yeah.
Super now, thank you.
Great. So yeah, you can go to the next slide where I presented myself. There was, yes. Yeah, so that's me. And next, let's go to the following slides. Background and overview, yes. So MCFA, Modern Cooking Facility for Africa, is a results-based financing program. It accelerates access to modern and affordable cooking solutions for consumers in sub-Saharan Africa. The program was launched in November 2021, and it is managed by NEFCO, the Nordic Green Bank. MCFA is a multi-donor program funded by Sweden, Norway, and the EU. And total funding is about 61.5 million euros. The EU is only funding Zambia program. Then the next slide. The objectives of the MCFA. If you go to the next slide, please. Now I can't hear or see anyone. Could you go to the next slide? Yeah. Did I dropped out of the meeting?
No, you were here. You were
okay. So maybe we can change to the next slide.
Doreen, is it?
Yeah, about the objectives. We contribute to the SDG 7. Now you don't see the slide, but if I'm
on the next slide. I don't know.
Yes, please. Yeah.
I don't know why.
We are not seeing it.
But we contribute to the SDG 7, affordable and clean energy, and aim positive impacts on climate, deforestation, gender equality, and health. The MCFA creates markets and conditions for commercial investments and long-term sustainability. of the private clean cooking sector. It seems to be stuck on this slide. Yeah.
Doreen, would it be maybe better to remove it from presentation mode and maybe it would change? Just let's make that test.
Or then I can share if you already saw some.
Okay.
Okay.
It's running now. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So the objectives, and aim is to accelerate access to modern energy cooking services to 4 million people in 7 African countries. Then the next slide, you can see a map of eligible project countries. We have Democratic Republic of the Congo, Kenya, Malawi, Mozambique, Tanzania, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Then next slide, please. MCFA approach includes incentivizing private companies that offers clean cooking solutions. So we fund for-profit companies, so-called cooking service providers, so that they engage in the business of offering affordable, high quality and energy efficient clean cooking services in the sub-Saharan African countries, in the project countries that I just showed. We support the use of higher tier cooking solutions, 3, 4, and 5, and sustainable cooking fuels, such as sustainably produced bioethanol, bio-LPG, LPG only in selected countries, biogas, electric cooking solution, and solid biofuels from sustainable sources, such as pellets and briquettes. Next slide, please. And we contribute to the global outcomes. We aim to provide clean cooking to 4 million Africans in the target countries. We aim to invest 40 million of public finance in the sector, and also leverage private finance at ratio 1:1, which is a co-financing requirement for our investees. Our aim is to invest in 20 private clean cooking companies in the countries and reduce annual deforestation and CO2 equivalent emissions. Also, MCFA reduce consumers' exposure to black carbon and particulate matter, particularly among women and girls. Then let's go to the next slide, please. We have arranged so far 2 calls for proposals, and currently we don't have plans to open new ones. We aim to allocate the available funding under the second call, as the first MCFA call is now concluded. It was launched in April 2022. Now we have 13 companies contracted, and 1 project is still at the contract negotiation stage or due diligence. And under the second call for proposals, the shortlisted projects are now in due diligence. It was launched last year in November, and now pre-qualification application stage and final application stage has been finalized, and we might see announcements of new projects early next year. Next slide, please. MCF financing is to higher tier clean cooking service providers. Ticket sizes are between 500,000 up to 2.5 million euros. This was from the second call for proposals. We tweaked it after early evaluation of the first funding round and split the funding into 2 funding windows: for catalytic funding window for earlier stage companies and for scale-up funding window for companies that are having more experience. So part of the funding is non-recoverable upfront grant, depending on the funding windows, up to 30% or 50%, and the rest is results-based financing, which will be deployed on a grant basis as free equity, and it will be paid against achieved and verified provision of clean cooking services. Then next slide, please. Yes, so some repetition, but maybe I go to this, that we also incentivize stove use monitoring and pay-go, which is a form of consumer financing. We provide companies technical assistance, general technical assistance, and also assistance to access carbon finance, which is a potential revenue stream for the companies. Then next slide, please. MCFA portfolio, I picked some numbers here. If we go to the MCFA portfolio overview, we have most of the projects are electric. Almost half of the portfolio is now electric cooking. Then we have biogas, 31%, and the rest briquettes and pellets, gasifier stoves. And with the breakdown between countries, we have almost in all countries, DRC, Kenya, Mozambique, Tanzania, and Zambia, we have e-cooking. Zimbabwe, we have only one project, which is biogas project, and DRC also one project. In other countries, we have several, but this is the status now, and it will be then updated when we announce new MCFA 2 projects early next year. Next slide. Well, the expected results from the contracted projects so far, as we have 13 projects in 6 sub-Saharan African countries, we aim to deploy 691,000 clean cooking services, which will then benefit 3 million people to have access to clean cooking. And the funding amount that is now committed to this project is 24.2 million euros. And investees at the moment are Burn. We have Burn Manufacturing in DRC, Kenya, Tanzania, Mozambique, and in Zambia. Then in Kenya, I don't know if you are familiar with these companies, but we have 8 Hybrid Energy Kenya in Kenya, Home Biogas Ventures, and Better Cooking Company known as EcoSafi in Kenya. Then we have Anchi in Zambia and Mozambique. And Zimbabwe, the biogas project Landforce is offering biogas solutions there. In Tanzania, we have only electric e-cooking projects, Burn and Sayari Safi, known as Up Energy as well. And in Zambia also we have emerging cooking solutions providing deploying gasifier stoves. Then I picked some, then if you go to the next slide, this is the same kind of breakdown and the brand logos there you can see. Actually, we can go to the MCFA e-cooking portfolio slides that are coming then after this. So that I will, yes. So apologies, the brand is now kind of lost that we have our brand slide, so these colors look a bit different on my slides. But Burn have 5 distinct projects in DRC, Kenya, Mozambique, Tanzania, and Zambia. They have launched a new electric cook stove product line and have established eco-electric induction cookers. The project is ongoing, and they sell the product with set of pots and frying pan. Their business model includes pay-go, so the customers pay the product in installments, so the upfront cost is lower, which benefits lower income households. But of course, these are in general not the cheapest solutions, so customers are in urban and peri-urban areas. Between all these projects, the targets of clean cooking services to be deployed are between 52,000 and 135,000 CCS, and committed financing per project is up to 2 million euros, and then expected number of people with access to clean cooking is between 260,000 and 670, almost 80,000 people who would benefit from these. Then I would like to present Sayare Safi on the next slide. They are offering power-up electric pressure cookers with Peiko and stove use monitoring, having a project partner, Teco Uganda Limited, supplier of power-up EPCs, and provides also training and supporting marketing and data analytics. Their CCS target is 123,000, a bit over that clean cooking that they are aiming to deploy under MCFA project. 2 million euros of funding is committed to this. Then I would like to shortly present some slide on the technical assistance. We are almost in the end. So as I mentioned, we provide technical assistance, general technical assistance, which is tailor-made to each investee's needs, focus on business coaching and mentoring. Also, ESG and gender inclusion are important. We require certain gender policies and gender action plans, which are also relevant documents for if the companies are seeking other financing. If they don't have those yet, so we support help in developing those documents. Then, as I mentioned earlier, carbon finance related technical assistance is crucial to gain carbon revenues, as those can be considered as project co-financing and additional revenue for the companies. So we have technical assistance services related to both. And usage of stove use monitoring is a key factor in accurate data collection that is linked to the carbon finance access. And then the last slide is about some thoughts regarding unlocking e-cooking in sub-Saharan Africa. It's important to increase market and product awareness in the countries. Positive community experiences, they can drive greater demand for e-cooking solutions if people see that neighbors or local people are using these solutions and might hear positive feedback on the usage. With support of additional finance, companies can improve their operations and affordability of the product. The effective distribution models, logistics are also essential to reach remote areas. Many countries might have large geographical areas, so it's the distribution or logistics might be challenging. And also reliable mobile and grid connectivity are crucial for the operations. Some companies receive payments via mobile money, also tracking sales, customer satisfaction, and service are also online or mobile, dependent on mobile network. Then here, contact of our MCFA team. And if you are interested, there is the website. We have also a newsletter if you would like to subscribe to it after this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emma, for your presentation. I saw that we already have some questions on the chat. We will address them after the last presentation. In the program, we foresee a very short break. Since we are a bit behind schedule, I would invite everyone to go to the link that I have put it on the chat and answer that fast and very quick survey that we have done for you. Our next speaker will be Heikki Hodet and also Michaela. We are scheduled for 12:10, so we have 3 minutes until then for a very technical, short and technical break. And please also spend that time answering to our survey. Okay, so we'll start with Heike at 12:10. I'm not sure if she's already there, Michaela.
She is already there. Can you hear me, Teresa?
Yes, yes.
Is the screen? I try to share my screen. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see it. We can see it.
Such that we can click from our side. Good. Okay, just let us know when to start.
Yeah, just 1 or 2 minutes, just for to give us some time to go to the survey, and then we at 12:10 sharp. You can start. I'll just give you a sign. Okay, have 20 minutes.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think we can start now. Go ahead, Michaela and Heike, welcome.
Thank you very much, Teresa, for your introduction and also for your invitation and the excellent organization of this webinar. It's a pleasure from our side, from Sofia, to be part of this webinar in which we like to share our experience about solar clean cooking, we say. I will start with a short introduction in the project, as maybe some of you have never heard about Sofia, which is a EU-funded project, and we work together with the other sister projects that were mentioned already by the Green Deal Support Office. We have 13 partners from Africa and from Europe with experience in solar, water, and refrigeration technologies. And we provide for hospitals in rural areas in Africa, safe drinking water, also for hospitals. We provide hot water, steam, refrigeration at different temperatures, going so deep to minus 70 degrees for different vaccines, but also minus 30 and plus 5 degrees. And we can also supply electrical energy in case there is a need. Our first generation from Sofia has 2 containers. One is the solar cooling container with the different rooms, different temperatures. The this first generation is about water and providing steam. And we have here an innovative high temperature energy storage, which we call PV steam cube, which is loaded with PV electricity. We also have flat plate collectors for providing hot water to the hospitals, and also shuffler collectors, which will come back a little later for direct cooking. First of all, in rural areas, we also have the network which can be used to provide electricity, but also as we will see in the right side. We have this as a demonstrator. Demonstration sites are in Burkina Faso. There the systems are already running since May this year. The next one will go to Cameroon, Uganda, and then in Malawi. You see some images from Burkina Faso in Leo. We have a hospital in which we demonstrate the solar related things. We have the cooking part here, and also the water and the clean refrigeration. We have the direct solar cooking using the Scheffler reflectors, and you see here some images. The Scheffler reflectors were invented by our partner Simply Solar, based in Germany, and we are happy to have them as a partner with their experience for more than 30 years in solar projects in Africa and beyond. We have direct using stored in this high temperature storage, which we call PV steam cube. And here you see also our materials. We try to use simple materials that can be recycled after that. So aluminum and iron, steel, these are our materials that we use. You see more about Sophia. And now I will shortly introduce the second generation, let's say, for the solar steam, which we will install in the next months in Cameroon. There we could use the solar steam for both disinfection in autoclave and also for cooking. The user can choose which services they would like to have. I will like to give the word now to Heike from Simply Solar to continue with the next demo site that we have in Malawi, and also say about our challenges and different social aspects involved in promoting solar cooking in Africa. Heike, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here. As well. I'm sorry. Actually, on another conference.
We can hear you quite well.
Super, perfect. Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for inviting us. I want to talk about the socio-economic challenges basically derived from the Sophia project. So I'll talk about the socio-economic challenges for institutional solar cooking. Michaela just showed the technology we are working with in the Sophia project. So it's actually cooking with photovoltaic energy, but by the means of steam, which we can draw 24/7 from our storage unit. So this institutional cooking is going to be implemented in 4 hospitals. It's already installed in Burkina Faso, where the capacity is also for 80 people. Capacity of this kitchen, and we use double-walled cooking vessels. So the steam is injected into the double wall and brings the food to boil. You can see this maybe in the middle picture is kind of a top view. Maybe Michaela, if we can go to the photos of the kitchen in Malawi. I want to use our hospital site in Malawi to illustrate the challenges a little bit. This hospital shows something we have perceived in a number of rural hospitals in Africa, which we have visited. The cooking for the patients is actually done by the patient's relatives. So every patient comes with his own group of people, or at least one person, who will bring food for him or her. And the hospital provides kind of a shed, which you see on the left picture, where the individual patient relatives cook, most of the time on a 3-stone fire. So this means they bring their own pieces of wood or collect branches in the surroundings, make a fire and cook, usually in cooking hardware, which they also have to bring themselves. Like they have to bring a pot, and maybe 3 stones are already there. So this is the context. Now, this presents a challenge to implementing institutional solar cooking in various ways, because it means, on one hand, that the hospital has no finance, no budget for cooking for the patients. It's also not used to it. we will, on the other hand, not be able to implement individual solar cooking solutions because the stakeholders are always changing, always new patients, new relatives. So it would not be possible to tackle kind of a technology transfer to introduce them to cooking in a different way than what they're doing currently with the three-stone fire. Of course, the social challenge here is also that people do not have good financial means. I will talk about this later, but you can see from this kitchen setup that there might very well be hygiene issues in the catering activities, and also in terms of nutrition, considering that the patients are obviously sick people, they would need good food and enough food to get better. And this is also under question with this setup. What we see on the side of hospital owners is sometimes a very big respect for the current activities, like the way it is handled with the patient relatives, particularly when foreign donors are involved. They consider this somehow traditional, and then they're very careful to change something. Whereas in the history of my company and also our NGO activities in solar cooking for the last decades, where we always work with institutional cooking, we have seen that only if the administration of an institution is behind the social cooking activity, the solar cooking activity, and will actually enforce it, only then there is a sustainable effect, which would be that the solar kitchen is in use, benefiting people and the institution. Now, in terms of the economy, the benefit for the patients is depends a bit on how institutional solar cooking would be implemented in such a hospital. Is it that the hospital will be able to sell the food to the patients? And this is often not really thinkable because of the economic situation in rural Africa, where people do not have money to buy food so much, as they come from a different context where they maybe grow their own food or eat very basic. Yeah, then on the side of the hospital, the economic question is, even if a solar institutional kitchen might be a donation to the hospital, is there a budget, or can they make a budget to carry the cost, the long-term cost of such an operation, which is obviously employing a cook, because it is unthinkable that an institutional solar kitchen can be run by changing patients' relatives. So somebody has to be employed and food has to be bought. So this is an issue which we also face in the SOFIA project, where the four hospitals actually have to come up with external money. This cannot come from our EU-funded project because that is related to solar hardware. And you saw here, this is the kitchen. Someone is clicking the slides very rapidly.
Sorry.
I cannot follow.
This one.
Yeah, here you see in the example of the Moor Mission Hospital what this can look like, this existing kitchen, and obviously there have to be changes in terms of building as well. Now, luckily in the Moor Mission Hospital, there is a more modern kitchen setup somewhere. It's just not being used. It was supposed to be a gas-fired kitchen. You will see a kitchen in 2 locations on this top view, which can be used by an institutional solar kitchen. But this is just to illustrate that obviously you would need a space for the solar panels, as we are talking about a photovoltaic powered kitchen here. Needs space in the, here we are talking about capacity of around 80 people, which receive 2 warm meals and maybe a light breakfast with some hot porridge. So for this capacity, you need about 10 kilowatt of photovoltaic. So you have to have the relevant roof space, which is also supporting the panels, even under wind load and so on. And you need a kitchen space which can be locked because of the equipment being maybe a little bit more costly. Those large cooking vessels, for example. I think that I have already outlined the main challenges and would rather prefer that the audience can give some questions if they have in this respect. Mihaela, do you want to add something?
No, I think it's fine. Just have to always think about the local involvement and base our systems on the needs of the people and develop them together.
Yeah, from my perspective, the need is very obvious in these hospital surroundings, where we are talking about sick people in rural areas, so they are economically challenged anyway, and additionally they are sick. So there is a need for for good food, and the running cost of LPG, for example, is also out of question. They cannot carry it there. And of course, the whole surrounding with deforestation and climate change and everything means that we should go for solar cooking. And we have developed the technology in the Sophia project in a way that we can envision local production of these institutional solar kitchens, and that this is also transferable technology. It could be used in other setups like schools, prisons, companies, and hospitals, obviously. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, Teresa. So I think that's our contribution for today, and we are looking forward to see the questions from the audience. I think this would be the most interesting part of the webinar.
Thank you so much for your presentation, and Heike for your effort in being here with us in the middle of a conference. I would well, now it's the time for go to the Q&A, and also to make here some discussion around the topic. So I would invite David Loureiro, please, to join me moderating this Q&A session.
Yes, I'm here.
You're there. And also, I would invite all the speakers to participate here on this part of our webinar. Maybe we could try and go to the questions that we have. Maybe we could start by the last one, which is for this last presentation. And since Heike is in a sensitive situation there, maybe we should start with this one. So I don't know, do you want to go ahead, Stuart? Please, do you want to ask yourself the question to Heike and Mihaela?
Thank you very much. It was very interesting to see the presentations and the practical situations of what kitchens exist there, which are obviously fairly basic. I was wondering, there was a mention that there was a gas kitchen outfitted there, but not in use. Is that, I would assume that's because of the high ongoing costs of converting to gas and buying that gas as being unaffordable when they compared it to the fuel wood. Is there a understanding of how much is being spent on the fuel wood as a baseline?
Yeah.
For solar is being envisaged.
In terms of gas, the thing is, because the model is that the patient's relatives cook and they have to bring their own fuel, it's not really feasible that they carry gas bottles there. I give you an example. One of our project sites is in Uganda on the island of Buvuma, and the patients sometimes, like the furthest, they come by boat for 8 hours in small boats to go to this hospital. They cannot carry gas, and they come from, I think, over 50 islands, so it's like not really possible for them even to purchase gas in many of their situations. Here in Malawi, in the example we showed, yes, gas can be purchased, but yeah, it's the cost and it's also the cumbersome activity of carrying a gas bottle there and then taking it home with rest of gas inside, and the patients are not in a good economic situation, whereas wood is more likely to be found outside the hospital so they can get it on site. This actually causes the problem that if you want to budget things and think about selling food to the patients because it's now cooked in a solar institutional kitchen, then how do you price it? My personal perception is that there has to be a subsidy. You cannot ask the patients even to cover the full cost of the meal.
Okay, thank you. We have another one for you, Enoch. Just to let you go, then.
Yes. If you can hear me,
Yes,
well,
yes,
thanks for your
we can hear you
presentation.
very well.
Great. Thanks for your presentation. I was wondering, looking at such interventions, you would usually want to have some form of sustainable partnership with locals or people down on the ground to help initiate and take this up. My concern is, are there no local organizations that are interested in helping sort of change the narrative and make it more sustainable, especially with regards to the challenges you indicate, which would ordinarily be the perennial challenges they face? Has it been difficult finding local partners, or what has the situation really to be?
I think here in our Sofia project, we have different partners. 4 countries are involved, and in each country it's different. Like in Malawi, it's a mission hospital, so there is a Christian background and there is a funding from Europe behind it as well, a supportive funding. So of course the funding body is super interested to do this, just they have to also see how to come up with money to guarantee sustainable operations of such a solar kitchen. Whereas in the hospital in Burkina Faso, where the kitchen is already running, there's also a German association of doctors behind it. So they are, of course, seeing the benefit and they are trying to make it run in the long run. And I have seen in Burkina Faso also initiatives, local initiatives, for example, by an engineer there who wants to transfer the technology to other areas. Like they're currently requesting us to look at the production of local beer using the same solar cooking technology with steam and this type of vessels. So like our institutional cooking technologies are usually very close to food production, so they can be easily shifted there. In Cameroon, our partner is the Ministry of Health, which is supportive but has no funding for long-term operation of a solar kitchen in a particular hospital. The hospital itself is run by a foundation again, which does have some foreign funding, but they run many, many hospitals in the country, so it's not so easy. And
yes, although we have in Sofia, please.
Yeah, Michaela, no, you continue.
I just wanted to mention that we do have local partners in almost all the countries, but some of them, they are from academia, some of them are from Minister of Health, as Heike mentioned. So we would need for the future even more local partners in these countries, and we are also looking for a follow-up for Sofia. You have seen in the picture the first generation of Sofia. The second generation is only one container that combines both the water and the refrigeration. And in Cameroon, actually, we have the water combined with the cooking part. So we are open for any collaboration also from different local partners in different countries. Starting with the Sofia countries, which are Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Malawi, Uganda, and the production is done in South Africa. So there is also some potential. There we don't have any hospital involved. We just produce, but it could be also demonstrated there. Or in Ghana, there was a question in the chat about Ghana. We don't have any demo sites in Ghana, but our university from Switzerland, I am working for SPF Institute for Solar Technology at the Eastern Switzerland University of Applied Sciences, and we have quite some collaboration with Ghana, organizing also seasonal schools mainly on water and solar. But we have quite some activities in Ghana, so we are open for any collaboration that might appear. We don't have funding for the next pilot, so we are looking for further funding for future demonstration sites.
Right, sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I introduce a question for Han, please, because and I thank you very much, Hema and Michaela. That is important to achieve the policies. So for Han, perhaps you could make your impressions about what policies do you think have the best impact in the clean cooking sector in your country, because it's a very good experience in the project and in our discussion. Please, Han.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's a super good question, because I've seen also in other projects where we are involved more in processing and food processing with solar energy, but also in the cooking sector, that governments actually have policies to phase out charcoal use, for example, or to ban firewood. But mostly what we receive is it's not enforced, because there seems to be no alternative for the population to make this shift. So I would say that there is a need for government schemes to actually introduce technology and demonstrate that it works, but also finance it. So my personal belief is to do this in the institutional sector is much easier than to work with individual households, because of, for example, a certain resistance to change habits or traditions, and also the issue of not having budgets to invest. But when you work with institutions, then there are budgets, there is an understanding of amortization and so on. And if government schemes or other policy schemes could be linked to financial support, this would really help for the actual introduction of technologies and making this shift.
Sorry, did you say Anne or?
It actually is for both of you, but
Okay.
of course, as you presentation the cleaning cooking and status, I ask you for your opinion about the policies that is good to improve in your country, because I think as Emma made the answer is interesting, but I want your opinion about your achieving in Kenya and experiences. Okay.
Okay. So Kenya has had a lot of activities for electric cooking. So I saw a question. Someone asked something about MEX. We've been working with MEX on a couple of things. I think I have a report with MEX on the quality of electric cooking, actually quality of electric appliances and how that ecosystem looks like. So we are actually working with MEX from Stratford's End. Clean Cooking Alliance, we have all these partnerships. So just to answer that one. In terms of policies, I think what we've seen work best, and I would say it's less about the policies, more about the approach, because I think the way the activities in Kenya have been approached, it's been very much a joint effort, so to say. So less, I think the concern I have for a lot of projects that I see on the European Commission end is they'll tend to nitpick. Someone asked a question about the partners, in-country partners, right? So what MEX did is they created a working group, right? So the working group is the one that worked with the government so a working group of different stakeholders, and the working group is the one that worked with the government to figure out what policies in country are needed. So the specific policies that were identified, I think one of them, of course, is financing. Like we all talk about financing and we'll keep talking about financing for everything. That's always a problem. But the other thing I'd say is something as simple as informational campaigns. So that's people's knowledge of the appliances, people's understanding of, and also just something as simple as explaining to people the cost issue, because there's, of course, there'll be an issue with, this might cost a lot. So cost is a big issue in terms of like maintenance, less even about the upfront cost. Explaining the maintenance costs is extremely important. So let me say consumer awareness campaigns, they're very, very important for us to say there's something that has really worked. So yes, because even if you have a good product, if there's an understanding from the community that will be expensive to run, and I say this as someone who's seen people not connect their fridges. I had to convince my mom to connect a fridge because she was convinced that it will be a lot of money. It will cost a lot of money to pay for electricity. So consumer awareness and of course financing. Buying has also been an issue, right? So, and I guess that also falls under consumer awareness. So let me say a very huge chunk of policies need to focus on supporting the consumer awareness factor just as much as the financing bits. Yeah.
Okay, but do you think what is really the incentives to driving clean cooking adoption? Because normally we put this question in the survey, the relation between the nexus and water, energy, and food. But normally the incentives for the population, and as you're experiencing in Kenya, is related to money, position, solutions. What's your opinion?
I'd say the first and foremost is that people are price sensitive. But then I normally like to put a caveat there that in the studies that we've done, because we've been studying appliances and the adoption of appliances for some time now, in the studies that we've done, we've found that if you can convince people that they're receiving a good quality appliance, they're more willing to actually get the appliance, right? So there's been a question of how long will this thing stay? Because if it'll stay 10 years, people are willing to take out a loan and actually make a purchase for it. But then the problem is that you can tell them it'll stay 10 years, but if it's a new technology and if they're not sure, it's just your word against them. And that becomes a question of, okay, then you have to lower the price, for starters, so that I know that this thing will actually. So yes, there's price sensitivity with consumers. There is, like I said, a question of this cultural norms, right?
Okay.
The biggest problem that I have with the cultural norms conversation is that we've made an assumption. People will go and talk to my grandmother and then get shocked that she's refusing to adopt an electric cooker. The woman is 80. she's not changing the way she cooks at this point. But then if you're talking about cultural norms, it's very easy to convince a 20-something-year-old. Like my kitchen is full of different electric cooking appliances, and even though it's because I'm in the space, but that's also like a big thing. So it depends on the age group that you plan on targeting. Are we interested in convincing 50-year-olds to change their way of cooking and they've been cooking for 30 years? Or are we also interested in talking to the 20, 30-year-olds and ask them, okay, don't go that way. Let's do this other way. Yeah.
Okay, and thank you very much. Your impressions.
Michaela wants to talk. Michaela?
Yes. Okay.
Thank you very much, Teresa. I have two points. One, I think for the success of clean cooking, we should involve more women at the management level, because women, they do cook, they understand the process, and they will be promoters of clean cooking. So if we would have more women, they will care. And if you care, then the things will go on. We have seen also in our experience in Sofia, if you don't choose people that care, then you can forget about it. You need to have someone leading in a leading position that cares. That's the first topic, that women are very important in promoting clean cooking. And the second one would be, what about having a joint paper? You can call it a policy brief or find a special name for it, in which we present the different solutions for solar cooking. We have seen there are different options. and we can write the advantages of all these methods and try to promote in Africa more this clean cooking as a joint effort.
Thank you for your opinion. I think yes, Emma wants to make his opinion, please.
Yes, thanks. A good discussion. I would also like to highlight the co-benefits. I think people are not sufficiently aware of the health benefits and like how it really directly affects the people and having lung diseases and others. So that's also like a health aspect, not only like which can then maybe if people really understand to have like a positive attitude, or of course it needs work and joint effort. I agree with that all the actors, and we can't only rely that the companies or the government does everything alone, but I think we need like all sectors and all actors together in this. But actually, I would just also like to answer a couple of questions in the chat at this point or later, because I saw there was some.
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm just, there was a question about solar. Yes, solar technology is eligible under NCFA, but we don't have solar projects so far. We have our evaluation process, or how we choose the project we invest is we have kind of internal eligibility checks, and then we have external evaluators that evaluate the business plans and score them. Then we have the financial offer together with the business plan evaluation score. Then together with this comparison score, we rank the projects, and that's why that was happening in Bern, that they were ranked high in each of the countries. So quite a large amount so far is going to Bern, but this will then change when we will have more projects, maybe up to 12 new projects coming under the second funding round. But we will see then if we have solar projects. And then there was regarding some device monitoring. I assume that was the second question to me. That this stove use monitoring. Well, we monitor internally the projects and the deployment of clean cooking services based on the customers' payments in installments, if it's pay-go business model. And when they apply for the funding and they have their official financial offer, they've included if they will have stove use monitoring together with the stove. So we also monitor that. So we receive stove use monitoring report together with other reports, and that's kind of like we have this kind of technical weighted cost calculation, and we need to monitor that. I can, if you want to know more details, I can maybe send to Ronan, but just in general.
It's better, okay. Emma.
Yeah. If you want, you can share with us and we distribute among the participants.
Right. But Emma, as your experience in Sofia and other projects, how it works with stakeholders, because the stakeholders is a major part of the success of some programs. It is difficult. It is. What is your opinion?
Yes, we do collaborate, and when we are located in Finland, but we do visit the project countries. We do join the seminar and events. I personally haven't been collaborating, but the rest of the team has been active in with So we are in all of those platforms, and it's important to share opinions, experiences, and knowledge between all of the actors in the sector.
Okay, thank you very much. So we continue. Teresa, do you have a question for the others part?
Well, we have here some discussion aside on the chat. So some opinions are here, very interesting. I saw that there were other comments at the beginning for Anne and Vincent? I don't know if Enoch, you want to take the floor again, because I saw that you were here with some comments about the presentation from Anne and Vincent. Or I'm not
Right.
sure
So
if
just
they were already
briefly
answered.
Yes, I think they already answered,
Okay.
but there was a follow-up that I wanted to find out regarding the activities on ground and how people accept, particularly the recipes that they are used to cooking in the normal traditional ways versus using these modernized versions to cook. It would just be good to understand those dynamics. And I think it quite relates also nicely to how people accept these technologies. So it would be good to just have a bit more of information on that. So
we did a study. Actually, we did a study specifically for this, and this is what led to the e-cooking project. We piloted actually a last mile connectivity project. So newly connected households, they had been connected probably for 1 year at most, or 2 years. And most of them did not have appliances. So we selected 60 households and we gave them an electric pressure cooker at a very, very small rate. So the main issue that we found is, number one, the men were very much against it. So we had instances where we had to drop households because the man was very uncomfortable with the idea of some. So there was two parts. So there was the ones who thought, who are these people who are giving free stuff to my wife? And then, but then there was the element, there was like, out of like 15, 5 were, who are these people who are giving stuff to my wife? And we did manage to convince some of them that we're just researchers and we're not trying to do anything. And then there was the other group that was very much against the electric pressure cooker coming into their households, and they had all kinds of reasons. So I think from what we learned from that specific project, because we ran it over the course of 3 months, and what we learned in general is that that's where the age thing is coming from. It was very easier to convince younger people to take on the project, and it was much harder to actually convince the older generation of this. And it was easier to actually convince them from the women groups or cooperatives than it was to convince them as individuals. So it's just, I think what I'd say is that the structures of the community need to be taken into consideration. There's this idea or habit that I've found where we go into communities and we just assume that the individualistic structures that we have elsewhere or we have in cities is the same one that operates in rural communities on the continent. That's not true. Rural communities, and each rural community will have its own structures. There's some people who will operate better from a chief's perspective, and there's some people who will, listen more to the cooperative or the village elder or whatever. So that was the biggest learning. I think if you're rolling out any new technology, you need to figure out what the community structures of the place that you're working in is. And I think the other thing, in terms of the cultural elements, was the involvement. I've mentioned the men, but then there was the involvement of men. I think at the beginning, we had made plans to actually involve the men in some of these conversations. But if you're going to give something that requires household finances, it's very important that you have conversations with the household, right? Not just the woman, because the finances in most African households tend to be controlled by the men. So a TV is easy to buy. An electric pressure cooker, we need to have a conversation of why the kitchen needs to be gadgeted, right? And that it's very important that we understand that those dynamics are playing at any given point. Yeah.
So there is also the need for a change in people's minds in what concerns that part of the problem.
I don't like I don't like using the word change. I like using the word convincing, because it's not really, they'll cook, right? So we're just trying to tell them, hey, there's a better way of cooking. It's not because it's a cooking to cooking. Change is going from no electricity to electricity.
Like an improvement.
Yes, so it's an improvement of sorts. So cooking is, in my opinion, is coming in at a much easier, because people have to cook. But then going from, I don't have electricity to electricity is normally like a bigger like shift. And of course, people want it, but the ways people want it, especially when it comes to solar, tends to be different. Okay.
Thank you. Mahela, you want to
yeah.
1 minute, please? Perhaps Mahela could explain a little bit about what is the young people involved, because I think it's interesting. I don't know if Inak wants to talk first, perhaps.
Right. So I was just actually going to ask Anne to do a quick compare and contrast with the situation that Michaela and Heike also mentioned with the institutional acceptance of these technologies. I think that would help enrich also the conversation, because primarily if you're dealing with domestic homes, that's a different conversation. When it gets into institutional, that's also quite different. So if you've had any experiences in that regard, you could speak to it. And my final here would be that I had earlier also requested and asked from, I think, Teresa and Co, if there was any strategic focus in Ghana in respect of your programs for the LEAP, and how one could also actively be involved in the working groups. I think those would be my two final ones. And thanks, Stewart, I've seen your point.
Thank you.
I think if when it comes to the institutional buy-in, I think convincing a high school to adopt electric cooking is a bit harder, because I don't know if you, so scale, right? We're not there yet. So when I hear institutional, I normally hear not convincing per se, but that electric cookers are not there yet. Not really that electric cookers are not able to do the work. So, and when we say, because I've seen the massive electric pressure cookers, but they're still not massive enough, right? So there's a certain segment which we've reached. So like, we're not just doing households. There's bigger cookers that can serve a bigger, but then the really, really big institutions, we're getting there. But then in terms of conversion, I'd say then someone asks firewood to LPG, right? Because that is a conversion that can happen. And I'd say that's a more complex question. Like, it's more of a cost question, because there's this understanding from schools of the infrastructure that you need to actually set up like a gas-powered and like a gas-powered cooker, a very big one. So it's an infrastructure investment question. So I think for the thing, I've seen the developments, they're happening. A bit more patience and a lot more investment is needed, but we should get there if investment is put in. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk with Mahela. Okay. You want to.
I like a lot Anne's comments about
Yes,
using other words than what we sometimes tend to use, like in new project exploitation strategies. Some words, they are not welcome for by the local community, so we should revise maybe a bit our words. And for that, we need also feedback from the others to see what we use. And actually my comment was wanted to introduce also the next capacity buildings activities which we have in Sofia, because I think it's very important to have like this joint effort, as also Emma mentioned, in bringing more people and creating more awareness Solar cooking is just a part of our project. In Sofia, we focus also a lot on refrigeration and the use of natural refrigerants. We are developing now also a policy brief on that, and also solar thermal technologies in general for providing clean heating. So our training activities, they will incorporate all these technologies, but solar cooking, it's part of it, and we have demonstrators in all these countries, and you're happy to send people or to participate with a contribution. The next the trainers will be in Cameroon, in Yaoundé, and that will be in January next year. And then we have in February and March, most likely in March, in Uganda, and in Malawi in April, most likely, or in May. So if we have also a summer school in Ghana, Enoch. So I just wrote my email in the chat, and Sedi, our partner from Burkina Faso, also mentioned Andreas Reber. He's participating in this seasonal school in Ghana, and I can make you the contact with our Global South cooperation coordinator from OST, and she's having projects in Ghana, in Liberia, and in some other countries. So.
Mahela, this kind of the schools and the events is open to the stakeholders or open only to the people that is involved?
The schools, the summer schools, and also the training activities, they are open to all the people. For example, we had in Karlsruhe this year the summer school with contributions from Burkina Faso, from different Sofia partners, and we had 40 students from all over the world, from Uganda, from different African countries, but also from Mexico, from Korea. So it was really international. There is a registration deadline for the next one. I've sent the link in the chat. It's in January. You are welcome to send your students there to apply, and it's only 100 francs the participation fee, and we do offer accommodation and food and access to all the lectures to the event. We just placed the participation fee, just that people are registering and also coming, not only occupying a place. Yeah. So
okay.
It's open for everyone.
Thank you very much for your information. Thank you very much. So, Teresa, it's...
I think it's time to wrap up the session. I would like just to try. I was here making a huge effort to share my screen. I'm not sure if I'll be successful, because I wanted just to show you the results from our quick and very short survey, but I'm here struggling. I don't know how to do it. So this was only, we had 3 questions, and we don't have many answers. So the link will be sent to you again, together with the results afterwards. So for those of you who weren't able, maybe it is something related with the platform, but maybe it will work better after we leave here. And then later I will share with you the results. But I would like just to say that one of the questions that we had here was, what should be the funding model to implement in the energy transition process underway in Africa? So we had here 4 options. One was the bank loan, interest free with no tax implications. Another was individual microcredit. The other one was group or cooperative microcredit. And the other one was a term that is called Machaniza loans provided by informal lenders. So this was very interesting, the answers that were here. So the great majority of the people that answered this went to group cooperative microcredit. So I would just ask one or two, 1 minute each speaker, and Emma and Michaela, if you would like to comment this.
I think I'll start. No, just first of all, thank you for organizing this. So I think my final statement on this, especially just to close in on the, is someone made a comment somewhere on the companies that are receiving financing in their electric cooking space. And given that there's one of the financials around, I hope that's something that will be looked into, because there's need to expand your net in terms of funding, right? Yes, because there's a lot of innovation that needs to happen, and it will not happen if we're all just very comfortable with the existing, like the status quo. There's need to expand, cast your net a bit wider to get more companies.
Thank you. Emma, do you want to say something?
Sorry, I don't know if I catch the question. That I was just having a coughing attack, but could you repeat the question?
No,
please?
I was just saying that one of the questions was related with funding model to implement in Africa for energy transition. And the large majority of people answered that the group or cooperative microcredit would be more suitable when compared to bank loan without tax implications, individual microcredit, and loans provided by informal lenders. So they chosen the group one, so the cooperative. Just wanted to know if you have an opinion about this, if you want to comment or say anything, or do your final comments.
Thank you. Yes, well, I don't have a strict opinion what is the best, but I think it's good to have several options for funding. Yeah, so it's depends on the needs and what is suitable for the circumstances. And yeah, so I think it's good to have all options.
The options on the table. Yeah.
Yeah, and to be open. But I just want to thank everyone. It was nice to discuss with you here, and I was also learning a lot. Thanks.
Thank you, Emma. And last but not the least, Michaela, do you want to say something about these answers and your final comments for today?
First of all, it was very interesting for us from Sofia to be part of this webinar. Thank you very much, Teresa, and your team for the excellent organization. And my last comment would be that, at least from our side in Sofia, we try to encourage institutional cooking, so building communities that are using this service. Because if you have a nice example with a good leader, then this example will be spread very quickly. So we work with hospitals, because there it's really a need, as Heike, our partner from Simply Solar, mentioned. Those people, they are sick, they need really good food, and solar is the perfect technology to be used for building sustainable communities and having healthy people.
Thank you so much, Michaela. Well, I think that we are done. We are 5 minutes over schedule. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here with us, for promoting this interesting discussion. We will try to answer the questions that were on the chat that were not answered. And send it back to you, and also will again distribute the link for the survey so that you can have the opportunity also to give us your opinion. So thank you very much, and have a remaining great day for all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Also, healthy regards from Sofia. Goodbye,
Thank you,
everyone.
Michaela. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, everyone.